All right, so we're here at Donkeys at halftime for our first show episode ever. We're here to talk about Man United winning over Man City, and we're here to talk about Liverpool. Being what 4 points, 5 points
Two
away,
points.
2 points away
With a
from
game in hand.
game in hand. So pretty much 5 points away because the game in hand is Fulham, isn't it, or Everton?
Everton.
Yeah, so that's almost like an easy dub.
It's still a Merseyside derby. It's still
That's an easy dub.
Arsenal couldn't even beat them at home. So
Yeah.
tough teams. Stoke City are struggling against these kind of oppositions. So we got an interesting little weekend in the Prem to kind of ease us into being around halfway through the season at this point. And
Almost a Boxing Day,
almost towards Boxing Day when we truly do understand the status of the Premier League.
Yeah,
And we got Chippy Chips lighting up the league.
completely.
We've got Man City absolutely falling off the high heavens.
Yeah, who would have thought that? Like at the beginning of the season. Man
Yeah,
City
no,
completely- I know.
like if and honestly, like it's a state where it's like if you were asked at the start of the season, Man City were gonna win 1 in 11 games. Who's gonna be at the top of the Premier League in December? Who do you have said it was?
I mean, Liverpool was a top candidate, but I would have thought it was Arsenal.
Yeah,
I would have thought it was
most
Arsenal.
people would have said. I would have said Arsenal, even as a very optimistic Liverpool fan.
They never looked as bad or like unimaginative offensively before. I didn't watch the Saturday game. I'll admit it. But I've watched a lot of Arsenal this season, and they have looked worse and worse offensively as the season has gone on.
Yeah, and if you ask me as well, I don't think defensively they are the same as last season either. I think they are the same, or if anything, slightly worse. So I don't think this side has improved at all from last season.
Yeah, people kind of know what they're gonna do. I feel like on the offensive end most of the time. I mean, they still can't stop the corners, but they
If
know
you can
what they're
stop
gonna do.
Saka, you can stop Arsenal. If you can stop Odegaard, you can stop Arsenal.
Odegaard and Saka, yeah, and that's pretty much like a Man United thing to do, to just like rely on individual greatness to like carry your games. Like that's not how you're gonna win the league. You need to have a cohesive system that works with all the players. And I mean, listen, Arteta has that. It's just like it just looks a bit unimaginative. I think that's the word.
It's kind of tough for them, being fifth season of Arteta now. He doesn't really have too much to show for his time. I mean, you look at Chelsea, you look at Liverpool getting new managers and being in strong positions. Maybe that's what Arsenal need to some extent. Maybe Arteta can't be that guy to kind of win them the trophies. Maybe he has to be that guy who is there to settle the club, make it more stable, get rid of the deadwood, rebuild, and now they can get somebody who can actually win the trophies that
Yeah,
they
I'm,
need.
I'm never going to subscribe to that theory unless Arteta keeps on going for like another 5 years. I'll give him another 5 years.
You give Arteta 10 years to win anything
Like
significant.
if he's like constantly challenging for the title as like the second best team or the second best team, like all of those years, then like I give Arteta all the time.
If Arteta doesn't win anything and still maintains like this top four thing for the next 2-3 years, nobody's gonna remember this Arsenal side at all.
Yeah,
Nobody's
for sure.
gonna remember Saka.
sure.
Nobody's gonna remember Odegaard unless they go into other teams, But
they're
like,
going to remember them as like kind of like as they remember Tottenham, or like I mean people remember teams that haven't.
oh yeah,
won.
he
It's
was
just
quite
like-
good. Shame he never won anything.
Yeah,
Like that's
yeah.
the kind of way they're gonna look at.
I mean
these
that's
players.
what Bale would have been if he never left for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I look at players like Saka and Odegaard, and I think they're just too good to not win trophies.
Well, they're gonna win trophies. I refuse to believe that Odegaard and Saka are not gonna win trophies at a time in Arsenal unless they get sold prematurely, which I don't see.
I don't see Saka leaving Arsenal.
How much would Saka even be worth in today's market? Like,
Oh, definitely like over 100 mil, and I don't think he'd even consider the thought of leaving Arsenal.
he'd be like 120 million, I'd say.
Yeah, probably something in that ballpark.
I mean, depending on his contract
He'd
situation.
go for a lot of money, but not even the best winger in the Prem, is he? Because we got Mo Salah.
I still say Saka's better, but
Yeah.
Salah's been the best player in the Premier League.
Salah, like, I mean, I know we should get into talking about the game soon, but just a little bit on Salah in that.
Big
Fulham
ideas,
games.
come on. Yeah.
But like Salah's been unbelievable like for his whole career, and now he's just like 32 years old, involved in like 23, 24 goal contributions in December.
Yeah.
I mean, it's generational form we're seeing from him.
He's playing really well.
And the Newcastle game the other week, no Salah on the pitch, we get beaten 3-0.
Good chance that if Salah wasn't on this Liverpool team, I think Chelsea would have probably been, Chelsea or
would be in
maybe
the top
even
spot right
Arsenal
now.
would have been in the top spot.
I
Right
think
now.
we'd be languishing around 6th, 7th without Mo Salah, realistically, honestly, with you.
He comes up with a lot of stuff. Like, we give Slot a lot of credit and everything, but a lot of it is individual greatness. For
I mean, if
Salah,
you've got the
honestly.
best player in that position, I mean, you got to utilize him to his best. And Salah's kind of been doing this for a while now, where
Yeah.
he's been kind of his assist game has gone up. And without a donkey like Darwin Núñez in front, he should have more assists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of what we saw in that Fulham game. Like, we drew 10 men. Feels a bit shitty to drop points in this title race when City are losing and Arsenal are dropping points. You gotta want to be picking up points with Chelsea building up ahead of steam as well.
Yeah.
But I'm proud of the way the team performed in that game with 10 men. I mean, Gravenberch played as a centre back for that game. Absolutely, he's been a revelation this season in terms of, like, we knew he had quality, but the way he's proving it week in, week out is fantastic.
Yeah, Gravenberch,
And Jota being back brings a lot of confidence to me. I don't want to see Darwin Núñez ever play starting.
Yeah, you've
unless
fallen
it's-
off the Nunes train over the last
I,
couple of...
I defended this man for 2 years.
Yeah, when I
And-
first met you, you were like the biggest Nunes supporter, and I slowly seen the downfall of Nunes in your eyes.
I mean, I wanted him to succeed so badly in a Liverpool shirt. He's such a likable guy, but
Yeah.
you can't not get frustrated with him. He's just a donkey. He's no football like you.
Yeah, I know. Some players just do not have it.
No, he just doesn't. Unfortunately, he's just not good enough to play in a Liverpool shirt.
Maybe this will come back and bite us. Like maybe 3 years in the future, this will be like our first recording, and this will be like the first thing we do.
Oh yeah, Darwin Núñez has just won his 3rd Ballon d'Or. Like,
Yeah. It was like he's never going to amount to anything. He's just not happening. Very absolute statements.
That would be the craziest commentator's curse of all time.
know.
I would go crazy if that happened. You know,
I know.
I'd eat that dirt every single day of the week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe he doesn't do it for Liverpool. Maybe he leaves and like does it for like like a big
Porto.
club.
Saudi Arabian club, like, I don't know. You should learn Chinese or Arabic soon.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion.
In other news, Oscar just left the Shanghai whatever like,
Really?
after 7 years,
He's-
and he had like a massive standing ovation, and he started crying at the end. And like, listen, I mean, he's been there for 7 years.
He's crying because he's not getting that paycheck anymore.
I mean, he got a lot of money. Like, I don't think he's gonna be.
I mean,
you know,
he's probably set for life now.
he is absolutely set for life.
He's probably crying because he went to China instead of getting the Saudi money. Like, he's like, damn, I could have made this money in like 2 years what I did in 7. Like,
Yeah, and would you rather live in? Would you rather live in wherever like fucking Saudi Arabia or like China?
would you rather get shot or stabbed? Is what you're asking.
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much.
We live in Dublin, by the way.
We're definitely getting stabbed in here at some point.
Oh yeah.
But your team, getting onto to your team, the Manchester, the Diallo Derby, as it is now rightfully been dubbed.
Diallo's looking incredible.
You guys really
Absolutely.
needed that win. It means a lot. I've seen a lot of Man United fans. As much as I hate their club,
Yeah.
as much as I hate everything they stand for, I hate City even more, to be honest with you. And
Listen,
I love seeing the City downfall. I love everything about what happened in that game.
listen. In unrelated news, that was one of the worst days of my life, and that win actually made me cry out loud. Like, just it was incredible.
You're not the only one, I'm assuming. Like, I'm assuming there is like hundreds of thousands of Man United fans there shedding a tear.
Oh God! And I was just like, I was watching that like 60th minute, and then like I mean, it was kind of like it was a back and forth game that wasn't great in quality wise.
It was one of the worst Manchester derbies in the like modern kind of
Yeah,
versus
exactly.
whatever.
And then it got up to like the 60th minute, and they was kind of like still passing it around the back a little bit, and it just felt like, man, I just wish that like for once we'd like get a win. Like, I mean, I saw the statistic last 6 years we've had almost no wins against like big teams away.
Yeah, you guys have had terrible away records.
Yeah, and I was just thinking, man, how good would it be right now to like be winning? And then we equalized it, and I was like, all right, we're not gonna go for a win.
Well won by Amad Diallo, you know.
Won by Amad Diallo.
Terrible mistake from Núñez.
Absolutely.
He's lost the ball, and then he's kind of similar to what Robertson did in the Fulham game, where he's kind of made the mistake and lost the ball, and he's tried to recover, and he's just ended up giving it away, you know, like.
Yeah, listen, one of the like least talked about points of that game is the fact that Kobe Mino didn't start, and I want to bring it to light. Kobe Mino did not start that game, and Mason Mount did, and I mean, listen, got injured, too
I feel
bad.
I would like to shit on Mason Mount
Yeah.
because I don't rate him that much, but I'd rather see him fail on the pitch than fail because of
No,
injuries.
sad stuff for
You
sure.
you
but-
never see that. You never like to see that for a player.
But I just I'm disappointed not to see Kobe Mino start in a big derby.
I mean, It was probably a tactical decision just for that game. I mean, I did like what I saw from Mason Mount in the 10 minutes he was on.
I've seen Mason Mount for all of his games under Ruben Amorim, and he hasn't really jumped out.
Well, you haven't seen him in the Europa League, but that
Europa League does not matter.
Doesn't yeah.
Like, listen, maybe it does matter once you get into like quarterfinals and you actually play against real teams. Playing against Victoria Pilsen does not matter. It's as easy as that.
Kind of matters if you lose these games because then you're like, what the hell's going on?
Like, you want to win them, but like at the same time, if you don't win them, then you're a donkey. But that's not the standard we're setting here. We played against Man City. Kobe Mino should have played.
Fair enough. Yeah,
I think
if you believe that's the ideal.
I also believe in Ruben Amorim, so like obviously like he's the man. Like,
he also made big decisions in not having Garnacho or Rashford in the team at all.
Oh, yeah,
like not
squad.
even started, like not even the squad at all.
Yeah, massive decision there.
And it seems like.
Listen, it worked out for sure. Let's not praise this as a Amorim masterclass as much as much as I'd like to. Like, it's like, it was a terrible mistake in terms of like the penalty that we got, and it was a bit of a I mean, it was
individual brilliance for the second.
Yeah, it really was that. But the game didn't look great quality wise.
No, it didn't seem like either. Like, I think the whole game, like, it took until the second half for there to be. Yeah. Even be a shot on target. I think that City goal was like the first shot on target the whole game.
Like I think like 3 games ago we had like a big win. I forget against who it was, like a 4-1 in the Prem, I think.
It was 4-0 against Everton.
4-0 against Everton, and he was like, all right, you're going to look at that and you're going to be happy, but we should judge this team based on how we actually performed on the field. And I'd say the same about Man City, but then again, we won against Man City on that. I'm fucking happy.
You celebrated. You celebrate these things.
And I did celebrate it that night. I absolutely did.
Like, yeah, like even like, in seasons where like Liverpool have been terrible, like a win against Man United or something.
Oh, it's
just
beautiful.
Like, picks you up, like makes you put a smile on your face.
And listen, as far as like the big picture is, like, I know it's early days under Amorim. We haven't shown like a crazy jump in quality yet, which would be crazy because he hasn't had that many training sessions. But we're 6 points away from Man City, who are in the 5th spot.
I do not condone any of these man's top 4 opinions.
You think Nottingham Forest are going to stay in the top 4?
I don't think they will, but
just die on this bridge.
I mean, they've been a real surprise package team. They're still the only team to beat Liverpool at all in this season. They've picked up big wins against, Man United. They've picked up a lot of good performances. Their forward line looks like it's really good. Nuno seems like he's got the team playing really kind of Mourinho-esque, kind of classic Mourinho-esque football.
Yeah, but when you look at the fact that it's only really about 4 or 5 points that separates all those teams. Can we really fucking...
To be above Man City is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I know, but can we really set Nottingham Forest way above likes of Aston Villa, Man United, Man City, Brighton, Tottenham even?
Well, City have been, just say it, ass.
They have,
ass.
But it is still Man City.
Ass.
Like, do we really think Pep
Guardiola... looks like he's going to kill himself.
Do we really think Pep Guardiola is actually going to have the worst season ever? Like,
I think he might. I think it's looking like an all-time stinker.
If you had to predict where City's going to finish at the end of the year, what would you say?
With their current form, if they don't make any big January signings, I realistically think they could stay in the 5th spot, like, by the end of the season.
5th spot.
Maybe even drop to 6th, or, I think a Brighton could sneak ahead of them if this kind of form keeps going, because it seems like a doom spiral. It seems like there's no confidence in that team. You see Walker getting pressed, and then, realizing, 2 seconds later, I'm going to go flop on the floor like a fish, like an absolute embarrassment. Yeah. You see Nunez for that penalty. You see the heads drop. You see the mentality. Like, that's symptomatic. That is a disease that spreads through the squad. And it kind of reminds me of Liverpool a few seasons back, 22-23 season, when Fabinho was, completely lost his legs completely. The midfield was gone. Nobody could run anymore, and that's what this City teams feel like. They're so easy to go through the midfield. Yeah. They're so easy to expose at the back that it could just, if they don't make any big signings, they don't get a good DM in January, it could get even worse.
Listen, I think they've got the biggest spotlight on them, and I still think that in terms of who I think the strongest teams in the Prem are right now, they definitely dropped below both Arsenal and Liverpool and Chelsea, but I still think they're probably going to finish top 4. And I'm a Man United fan. I would like us to finish top 4. But, realistically, I think Man City are probably going to be the 4th spot.
They should still have the quality to do it. The only thing that's when you look at it, this run from Pep, 1 win in 11, the greatest managers, have never had a this of a challenging run. Never happened to Fergie. Never happened to Klopp. Never happened. Wenger's worst was like 1 win in 9.
You know what? I just thought about it. Like, there's gonna be a massive thing happening in January because we're actually probably gonna know the verdict to the charges.
Yes.
If they
City
don't
will
delay
probably
it,
delay it. They
yeah.
will delay it.
Yeah.
They will
Okay,
appeal whatever decision's going to be made. That's for sure.
Okay.
Unless it's like fully like you guys get off scot free. Like they will appeal if it's anything against them,
Yeah.
and they
But-
will delay it even longer.
But I think
by
we'll
appeal.
probably know a lot more about it. So like, if the result from that is really bad, I could see their heads dropping even lower.
I think it's already around the players, the clubs. Like
A little bit, but
you
people
can't really be performing if you're thinking like what's going to be happening at the end of the season. Will we still be in the Premier League?
I know. So imagine if the verdict is like, it gets delayed, but the strong sentiment is like, oh, you're gonna get relegated.
It's like a little shit cocktail. You sprinkle in the aging players. Maybe they're thinking about their retirement, going to Saudi.
But he's still got Pep Guardiola, man. Like if Pep Guardiola
Has he lost the dressing room? Maybe.
Listen,
Do you think?
I think if Pep Guardiola relegate, and if he decides to stay at Man City and do this whole thing and completely ruin his life in terms of like the stress he's gonna have and everything, even if he drops down the championship, and then he comes back in the Prem,
There's talk
with
of
a
even
brand new team, he would still win it again. I think.
there's even talk though of like transfer bans for City, and I think that would hurt them
Yeah, but
more than anything.
all
'cause
that stuff happened.
Pep has
even-
never proven that he can solve anything without a checkbook.
I know, but all that stuff's happened to Juventus in the past. Like in Serie A, this happened before. I think it's even might have happened in the Prem, but I don't think that
Juventus are one of the biggest clubs in Italy. City do not have that historical leverage.
they have had it for like the past 20 years, and also they're still gonna get big money transfers in because it's not like the investors are just gonna get up and leave.
They might give up on this. We've got our Champions League. We've got a little period of dominance. Let's pull out our investment.
It would be terribly funny as both you a Liverpool fan and me a Man
I'm
United
more saying
fan.
what I hope is going to happen. I guess there.
Yeah.
But- I mean, going back to the game, I think the players that Man United should really be looking towards as their future, definitely players like Højlund, definitely players like Amad Diallo.
That is all fine and true, but at the same time, you look at the squad demographic, and United has a lot of players that are. United has a lot of players that are either really young, like not even kind of past their like 22s, or kind of like old and past their prime. The only ones that are like in their prime supposedly now would be like Dallo, and I think I'm not sure how old Onana is, but old and De Ligt as
He's
well.
like 27, 28, no?
Yeah, but I'd say the prime is around like like 25, 26 when you're still kind of like improving like physically and stuff. So yeah, I mean there's transfers to be made. I'm sure Amorim is gonna do a lot of that. We need a center back. We need a right back.
Yeah. We ourselves, I'd say we need a left back.
Well, not a
desperately.
right back. We got Mazraoui, who's the best right back. in the
Andrew
league.
Robertson is finished,
Yeah.
I think. Got players made out of Weetabix. Like I don't think we're gonna win the league unless we make some signings in January. In my honest opinion,
Yeah.
If we don't get like at least a left back and a forward to replace Darwin Núñez, I would love to see him go in January. Like I don't want to see a single minute more. He disrespects the number 9. He disrespects Fernando Torres' legacy
Yeah.
by wearing that shirt.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we haven't talked about Chelsea yet.
Chelsea are dangerous. They scare me. We watched a bit of that Brentford Chelsea game, and it was just like complete domination from Chelsea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like looking like scoring every time they went forward, just creating chances constantly. Always a threat on attacking. They can counter attack. They can press.
Yeah, we've talked about it. Like, listen, it's we talk about football all the time. They have, in my opinion, one of the best midfield like partnerships or trios in the Premier League.
Very comparable with Liverpool's, I'd say. Yeah.
I mean, man, I would say that is one thing that Chelsea have better.
I think Gravenberch is better than any of them. Honestly, in terms of the consistency this season. The levels Gravenberch has been playing at in the Champions League as well. Like that's another thing you can judge Liverpool on compared to City. They've been having Conference League. We're top of the Champions League, unbeaten.
Absolutely.
Which is,
Listen,
and Gravenberch has been man and match in some of those games in the Champions League as well.
you said it yourself. If Liverpool didn't have Salah, you'd be in the 6th spot. I think if Chelsea didn't have
Yeah,
players,
because we don't get the goals.
Yeah,
we still have a great defense without Salah.
if Chelsea didn't have players like I said or Lavia, I think it'd be like they've actually been absolutely instrumental, man.
They have been playing unbelievable this
Like,
season
they're-
as a pivot, as a
They're about
partnership.
as much like, I mean, Cole Palmer is like obviously edges it a bit, but like, but
This is an intelligent football podcast.
yeah, but Lavianca said it'd been insane. So we'll see where that goes.
Chippy Chips has been crazy.
Chippy Chip's been crazy.
Love that Panenka. Who's,
His Panenka from like what a game ago was like. I mean, we were
yeah,
already
against Spurs. With
we were already completely in love with Palmer. Now we just like, I mean, it's our obsession.
I'm seeing so many like Cole Palmer like propaganda posts like in my Reels feed like all the time, like little edits and.
He's my favorite
Like
player
hands.
to watch, to watch interviews of, to watch on the football field, to do anything, like to watch him run. I'll just watch that man run for hours.
That man's got nothing in his brain other than football, and is like he's just like us. Like he's just me for real, king. Like
He is great. Well, we'll just leave it on the Cole Palmer note.
yeah.
All right.